164 bills have been approved by the Illinois General Assembly thus far. Where we're going this week, in the final week of legislative session, it's going to be fascinating, and I hope you wake up with us each and every weekday morning and get the latest. So, I do this from time to time to give you guys a bit of a tutorial on how I go about researching the program and writing the news and such. ILGA.gov. All right, it's the Illinois General Assembly website. Illinois GA General Assembly. .gov. Go there and you'll be able to track along with us, right? I mean, listen, I get paid to do this every day. And if you've got free time on your hands, if some of you guys sip the coffee in the morning and you want to tool around with some things and look at state government and what's going on, you can kind of track this. And then you can wake up with us and we can compare notes, I guess. So if you go to ilga.gov, you'll see today's session schedule, right? The Senate's in today at 11. The House is in today at 11. You've got schedules in the Senate and the House, and these will allow you to see what kinds of committee hearings are coming up. So for today, for instance, we've got several committee hearings in the afternoon. So senators are going to come in at 11 o'clock, and then they'll do some afternoon committees. They can talk about a variety of different bills, like, for instance, in the Labor Committee, you've got 2 bills they're set to talk about with subject matter. So you can go through and find all of that. But what about catching up on everything that's happened? Go to Legislative Reports under Reports and Inquiry. If you go there, you'll see a long list. Now, keep in mind, if you start clicking around on this, it's going to have pop-ups. No, they're not pop-ups asking you for your email and, check your credit score or anything like that. It's just a pop-up because the report is generated in a new tab. So you might have to elect through your browser to allow pop-ups from ilga.gov. So you go through and you can see the date inquiry report, which I use a lot to look at what's happened in the previous day. But you can also find bills pending governor action. Now, these are bills that have been sent to the governor. Right now, there's none. So the bills that passed, the 168 bills or so that passed last week, have not been sent to the governor yet. They're ready to be sent to the governor, but they're not there yet. So we'll go back and look at House bills passed both houses and Senate bills passed both houses. This is a cumulative report of all of the House bills that have passed both houses. And we'll pull up that report here, and you can see there's a whole bunch of bills here. These are bills that have passed both chambers that originated in the House. So 142 bills so far in this General Assembly have passed both chambers. Most of them just listed, passed both houses. So you've got 140 some odd measures that the Senate has passed that the House has also passed. Now, what about Senate bills passed both chambers? That's going to be a much shorter list here. Well, I guess not. It's 119 bills. So we're looking at like 300 bills already just from all of that. And these are measures that have passed so far this year, not just in the past 2 weeks. So we're going to be seeing a lot of different bills pass over the next 1 week here in the final week of legislative session. But I just wanted to kind of give you that little bit of an overview of where you can find legislation that has advanced. Now, there's a lot of bills at ilga.gov. I mean, if you go, let's head back to the website just to show you. And I hope this is also educational for you to understand that, you might see some stories online spreading around on your social media about this bill is going to do this, and there's a lot of, fervor around it. Sometimes those bills don't go anywhere, right? And let me just show you, bills and resolutions. We'll click on this, and this is, just to give you an idea, there have been over 2,660 Senate bills filed. 2,666 Senate bills have been filed so far this year. 2,666. Not all of those are going anywhere. Most of those are going nowhere. House bills, over 4,000 House bills have been filed. So you're looking at nearly 7,000 bills that have been filed in both chambers. Not all of those, and again, I'll say most of those, going nowhere. They will possibly approve 500 plus bills out of the chambers to go to the governor's desk. What are some of those things? We've seen a lot so far. We've seen measures impacting the workplace, impacting employers, impacting landlords, impacting drivers, senior drivers in particular. We've seen things impacting schools, higher education, law enforcement, the criminal justice system. We've seen a variety of different measures impacting school buses and local regulations and all of that. So we're going to see these measures, and they're going to be approved over the summer by the governor once they get to his desk. But we've got to get through this last week where all kinds of things could happen. One thing we're watching for, the Homeschool Act. Is that going to come back? That was a highly opposed measure that State Representative Tara Costa Howard had, and she said that she wasn't going to bring it before a deadline, but you still got questions as to, is it possible to come through a shell bill later on this week and ultimately get across the finish line before the end of session? It's possible. We've seen other controversial legislation do just that. What about the Senate Bill 8? It has passed the Senate. It's queued up in the House, and we'll see just exactly where that goes. And that measure would require you to, as a firearm owner, lock up your firearm in a safe or with some kind of padlock in a house or any kind of place that there might be somebody who is not allowed to be around a firearm, and there could be penalties with that. And also there could be penalties with if you don't report lost and stolen firearms within a certain prescribed time, and that could lead to the loss of your FOID card. So whole host of things could happen with that. We'll be watching. But what about internet gambling? This is something I've heard time and again happen at the Statehouse with conversations that come up, bills get filed. We've expanded gambling quite a bit. There really hasn't been much conversation as to this particular idea of internet casinos, but it's been a topic of conversation in a variety of places for some time. So online casino measure, something else that could still possibly come up. Keith Hamilton, he is with the Illinois State Bowling Proprietors Association. I talked with him about where this is, and they oppose it because they have video gaming terminals, he believes, that would be harmed if they expanded gambling to allow internet gambling.
Well, we're concerned about larger companies making it, promoting the availability of individuals of all ages to just gamble out of their bedrooms in their pajamas. We have moral issues with that, first of all, because we're concerned about addiction. And also, that's important revenue streams for our bowling center operators, because what they do with that extra dollars that come in from iGaming is they reinvest it into their establishments, not only to pay employees, not only to keep prices down, but to build and improve their bowling centers, to improve their operations.
So you've got the idea of having more gambling expansion. We've already had a lot of gambling expansion. State Representative Bob Rita has been at the forefront of helping expand some gambling, and even talked about in 2019 when I chatted with him briefly about how, they did that, and they allowed for more video gaming terminals, more casinos. Is it now time to expand it to internet gambling? He says people are trying to get it, but we might need to take a step back and reevaluate all of this.
I don't know where we're at now. It's May. This is the time of the year where you start seeing different items that maybe didn't have legs, potentially could, but I think we're still a little early in this stage to see where it's at.
Well, now it's the final week of session. Are we going to see it pop up? Because, again, there's shell bills, right? All the 7,000 bills that they filed, hundreds are considered shell bills, and dozens have already been pushed over to the other chamber. So all they have to do is go and take that Senate bill that's now in the House, gut it, replace it, pass it in the House, back to the Senate for concurrence. They don't have to go through the entire process to get something across the finish line. So is that going to happen with internet gambling, possibly? More from Bob Rita.
Again, when we did 2019, we expanded gaming pretty large expansion. They said new casinos throughout the state, increased betting, increased the amount of video poker, sports betting. So this would be, a big change to what we did in 19. So we need to look at it very closely and see what cause and effects it actually has. Not just looking at, we could raise money. What does it do on the big picture? And is it the right policy for the state of Illinois increasing more gaming?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're going to hear any more of that this week. Several weeks ago, some Chicago officials were taken to task over a measure that would allow for Chicago to actually have video gaming terminals, because believe it or not, Chicago doesn't have video gaming terminals. You look all over the rest of the state, though, and video gaming terminals are proliferating around every corner. Here in Springfield, for instance, you go up and down the street, and video gaming parlors are taking the place of, payday loan places. So you've got that happening all across the state, but not in Chicago. Chicago officials pushing back on the idea of getting video gaming terminals, and that conversation has been had, but we haven't heard much about the internet gambling issue. You also have another proprietor of a bowling arena. This is Arena Lane's owner in Oakland, Illinois, Bill Brennan, talking about how he's worried that the state might find some way to pigeonhole this together and make it to where they can get more tax revenue by expanding gambling online, and that's going to hurt local small mom and pop businesses.
For the last few years, we've successfully been able to table it or defeat this bill. But right now, the state is looking at such a bad budget shortfall, they're looking for any revenue streams that they can possibly get to try to balance this budget. Even if they do not understand, like I had said, that they're going to cannibalize a revenue stream that's already been invested in by the private sector and the public sector as well.
So are we going to see that pop up? Not sure. Something to watch for. That's what I'm going to be doing at the Statehouse. What's going to come out of Shell Bill season? Because that's where we're at right now. We're in Shell Bill season. In the final week of legislative session, it's only Tuesday. They're in today. They're in tomorrow. They're in Thursday. They're in Friday. They're in Saturday. So maybe I do a live show Saturday. Maybe I do a live show Sunday just to keep you updated. And then maybe I take a few days off. All right. Buckle in. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully you stay informed. Get the headlines in your inbox. Getting the newsletter at thecentersquare.com. Wake up with us here on YouTube each and every weekday morning for Illinois in Focus, and check out the podcast. Where you get podcasts, just search Illinois in Focus.